All right. Good morning, everybody. double double hand waves, something like that. I don't know. All right. So welcome back to another continuation of the Lojong. And what I wanted to remind you all is what we're doing and why we're doing it. Hi, Lucero. When are you going to invite me to Colombia?
This year, 100% you have to be here.
Okay. I want the weather. Um, so one of the things I want to remind you, what are we doing and why are we doing it? And I think that's what so um, what I would what I want to remind all of us on is that what we're doing is proposing radical behavior change, doing the opposite of what our normal reactions are in any given situation. And that's always been kind of it's always been the message, right? Well, which way are things coming from? Are they coming from this way or are they coming from this way? When somebody yells at us or someone does something, and we're always trying to figure out, you know, am I reacting in a way that understands where it's coming from, or am I reacting in a way where I'm having misunderstanding? And at the end of the day, the message is always the same, but we're always trying to like poke in different areas. Like, how do we capture ourselves in thinking the quote wrong way or responding in that wrong way? How do we capture that moment? Like that's the moment of the Dharma, right? Okay. That's the moment of, oh, I'm doing something in the opposite way of the way that the Dharma teaches me. I'm reacting in my habitual, normal Tim way, right? We had a very beautiful um, dinner last night. We just finished up um, a private program here, and people were talking about themselves as like old self and new self. Like, like new Tim does it this way, old Tim does it that way, and they started like talking about yourself in the third person is actually kind of healthy a little bit because it separates you from, I don't know, you from your actions, that somehow you have this space between the input and then the output, right? Can you create that space? I like to call it the pause, where input comes in and then there's a pause before output happens. We've been trying to build computers that happen so fast, right? We're always trying to speed up our computers. What we need to do is actually, in a way, slow down our mind to keep it from like moving in its pattern ways so that we can then behave in a way that's going to plant very different seeds for us and change things for us very quickly. And so that's what Lojong really is. Lojong is radical behavior modification techniques. And so in those changes, we have to acknowledge that there is an old self that's behaving in a way that's pre-programmed for years, right? For lifetimes, maybe. I don't know, something like that. Don't worry about how long. It's just been long, and not to be upset with yourself when you can't unprogram it right away. Like it's not I can't just put like a USB stick in your head and like upload upload new program and then delete the other one. It doesn't work that way. But Lojong gives us the skills to find that pause, find that space between input and response, to then be able to evaluate, is that the right response, or am I just responding out of habit? Am I responding out of emotion? Am I responding out of some kind of selfishness? And this is the reason why Lojong is not taught till later in the courses, and why it actually wasn't taught for a really long time openly. It was just passed down from teacher to student and like in private advices, because it's very, very, very difficult to do. And because it forces you to look at yourself. It forces you to look in the mirror and say, who am I and who do I want to be? Because the world is going to tell you a whole bunch of different things of who you are, or who the world thinks you are. Okay. So I would give us several steps. One is gentleness. I'm sure many of you have an internal critic inside that head of yours that's telling you, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Nobody likes me. Nobody loves me. Your version of it. Okay. I know my version. Right. And then you have all these advices. Which ones are the ones that are most powerful for you? Meaning, which ones resonate the most for you? You know, and then start working with them. Put them in your book. Be like, all right, which one of these do I want to work on today? And then spend the whole day watching your mind fight it. Because once you bring awareness to your mind, you'll notice how much you're fighting it. You see. And then it just becomes this slow battle of back and forth. Old Tim, new Tim, old Tim, new Tim, old Tim, new Tim, old Tim, new Tim. You see, you kind of move the other one into the background until eventually that doesn't have as much power for that one behavior. And then you select another one, and then it's like this again. Old Tim, new Tim, old Tim, new Tim, right? Then you start shifting one behavior at a time. All right. So now that you're properly excited about changing yourself, right, Francisco? You're like, someone yelled at me this morning and I got upset and rah, 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 rah. Yeah, I know. It'll be okay. Right. It'll be fine. So we're in the middle of our second lojong we're going to be studying. And this one's by Galayang Gumpa. And this one's it's a little bit longer. We're not covering every single verse, but I want to review the verses we did talk about, because these are two fundamental ideas that can be driving your lojong practice. So the first one is, he says, your mind is the Buddha. I went into a whole long discussion of how your mind is not the Buddha to understand how your mind is the Buddha. And the gist of it the fundamental basis of it, which happens to be the fundamental basis of a Diamond Way practice, by the way. If you're interested, there's a reason why we teach all these things, is that the emptiness of our mind has the same emptiness of a Buddha's mind. Meaning, it's not like they're the same thing. They're not equal to each other. Like, it's not like, right? Emptiness of Tim's mind, emptiness of Buddha's mind, and they're touching each other, and they're the same thing. They're separate. This mind has an emptiness. This mind has an emptiness. What is that emptiness? It's the same emptiness. It's the lack of anything coming from its own side. Understand? Right? There's separate emptiness is. Emptiness, though, is the same for every existing thing. It's just that the difference between your mind, excuse me, I don't know who you are, but the mind that appears looks like who your mind is, and my mind, excuse me, the difference between our minds and a Buddha's mind would be that a Buddha's mind is projecting something different onto mind. The Buddha's karma is projecting something different onto their mind. Omniscience, okay, free of mental afflictions, things it can do, right? All of those, like the Buddha's mind, right? Your mind is projecting your mind. Your karma is projecting your karma. Excuse me. That's true as well. Your karma is projecting your mind. And so the mind that has afflictions, the mind that doesn't have omniscience, the mind that does all the things that your mind does. But knowing that the fundamentals are the same, that's what can change your mind into an omniscient mind. That's why your mind can change. Different karma, different result. Right? So the first Lojong was much more 8 worldly thoughts, like put people above you, take the karmic hit, meaning you go to the low position, everyone else goes to the high position, and enjoy it. Stop competing with other people. Students, stop competing with each other. You don't have to be number one. What does number one mean? Okay. Stop competing. You don't need to compete with each other. Your competition is what's keeping your mind little. All right. If one student gets to do something, the other student doesn't get to do it. Why? Okay. It's not the teacher's fault. It's the student's fault. It's your karma's fault. You see. We deal with this all the time. So all of those are sort of more practical advices. Now we go deeper into the second Lojong that says, all right, look, what is the foundational aspects of Lojong? One is your mind is the same as the Buddha's mind in the sense that it has an emptiness. Put different karmas in, get a different mind. Simple, right? So easy. Nobody smiled. Very, very disappointed by this. Koi did. Thank you, Koi, for translating. But the thing is, like, bit by bit, it's just a path, it's just a step-by-step path. We're in the process of changing ourselves all the time. Now, sometimes I just get tired with it. I'm just exhausted. I'm like, I go into my little kid mode and I whine, right? And then I, curl up in my bed and things like that. But we need to be gentle with ourselves, which is what I mean why I say that. Like some days you just can't change. Just relax. Go for a walk. Take a deep breath. It's okay. You've been doing this for billions of lifetimes. One more day isn't going to kill you. Okay. And then he goes on to say, which is interesting if you look at the structure, then he goes on to say, well, what's the only thing that's important? And then he says the only thing that's important is the Dharma. The Dharma is the only thing that you can take with you, meaning your actions, your thoughts and your actions, the things that you do for others or not for others. That's what you can take with you. You can't take your money, you can't take your body, you can't take your clothes, you can't take your upset with you, although that will go into your mind stream, right? But all of those things, your house, your car, your family, your lovers, your job, all of those things don't go with you. They don't. The stream of you keeps going on as your karma. So then he's teaching us what is the most valuable thing that you could be doing today. Maybe it's sitting in a class. Maybe it's taking notes when Tim's talking so you don't forget what he's saying. Some people. It's funny. People ask me questions and I'm like, yeah, I said that in ACI 5. Yes, I said that in ACI 9. Yes, this is why I teach. I say everything that's needed. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't mean don't ask questions, but what it means is at the end of the day, the only person that can help you is yourself, your own karma. Okay. I had a beautiful moment with one of my teachers. They came up to me and she said, I wish I could give you my prana. And I was like, what? What does that mean? And then she said, because I don't worry about the things you worry about. I just was like, I just kind of I sat there quietly, and then she walked away. And I was like, okay, you know, then I thought about it, and then it was like, it was two sentences, walked away. And it was enough for me to be like, well, what doesn't she worry about? Why is this not a thing? Why is that not a non-issue for them? And then I got to understand that the way that I was seeing things was wrong. She wished she could give me her prana, just like any Buddha would wish to rip out your negative emotions, but they can't, right? But they can attempt to say things and do things to shift behaviors. But they know that only you carry your karmic stream with you. And only that's the only thing that really ends up mattering. In parentheses, I have to say again, I did not say don't have a house, don't have a job. I didn't say give up everything. Don't try for the worldly things. It's not what I said. It's actually it's actually a high spiritual practice to take care of yourself and have all of your needs taken care of. To not bother other people with them. Like to take care of yourself, to take care of the basic needs that you have. Like don't be a Dharma practitioner and not make money and then expect people to help you. Don't go to 1,000 classes and then don't have enough money to like feed yourself. Like that's not Dharma. That's not the Dharma. That's not Dharma at all. Like you have to care for yourself too. which is also part of, which is also part of bodhicitta, which is also part of, you are a living being too. So how do you navigate that? And so it's really only your practice that you can take with you. That's what we mean. That's the backpack that they put on. Like you carry your seeds in your backpack or in your heart or wherever you want to figure it out. Depends on what school you're trying to figure it out. I'd like to put my seeds in my backpack and carry them with me. Then I like to put holes in them and like let the bad ones fall out. Right. But in the only way that, when I told you about my teacher telling me this, the only way that they can help you is through teaching. And so you should be listening and you should be taking notes. You should be applying everything that somebody says to you to your life immediately. Not later, not in 3 weeks, because you're getting the advice now. Then you have to start thinking about the secret message. Why are you getting it now? Why are you hearing this now? I if you wait 2 weeks, your karmas have changed. Maybe they're trying to put something into you now to be like, hey, if you went like this, your world would be totally different in 10 years. Because a Buddha can see that, allegedly. And then when your karma starts getting really good, you will start seeing the things that they said to you 5 years ago, your teacher said to you 5 years ago, that if you actually listened, have shaped you and shaped your life. And if you don't listen, you'll look back and be like, wow, I really wish I listened. And then you'll start listening. Everyone goes through this. Don't worry. It's a natural process. How could this person know what I'm doing, what I need? You know why they know? Because you have the karma for them to know. It's a really cool thing. If you have the karma to see it as a cool thing, I guess. And so then the next line here, I really like. Let's see, who is going to read the next? Well, let's look at pictures first. Since I said hi to Lucero first, let's have Lucero read the next line.
Whatever it comes, make it crystal. This is the key for making this life turn to freedom all by itself.
So there's some cool things in here. So first of all, we have this idea of whatever comes, make it crystal. What does that mean? And then secondly, it has the key to turn life into freedom all by itself, on its own, without much effort. Oops. So back in the day when they made cars with manual transmissions, which they don't anymore, which is mainly infuriating for me who likes to drive, putting a diamond, that's a pretty big diamond, right? Let's just call it a crystal. Putting a crystal on top of your gear shift, right? That is that's running the machine, right? That gear shift is running the machine of the car. But what does it mean when we say turn it to crystal? And what it means is that the crystal, as we learned in ACI 6, refers generally to emptiness. So whatever comes, whatever appears to your mind, whatever experience that you're having in general, whether you like it or you dislike it, or it's pleasant or unpleasant, or it's neutral, whatever comes to you, that's the dependent side of things. So just the simple understanding, get this, okay? if you never hear anything else in your life, and you never take any notes ever again, and you don't listen to my class ever again, you never come back. This is the one thing that can shift everything for you. Just this one understanding. Whatever appears to you, if you think about where it's coming from, it's automatically correct. It's automatically collecting virtue. Just the thought of, oh, why do I have to see this? What? How many times have I said that in class? I feel like it's like this little recorder on me. I'm like, why do I have to see this? Why do I have to see this? Why do I have to see this? Right? Just that. Gina's standing over there. I'm not sure what she's doing. Um, she's making a coffee. Um, why do I have to see that? Like everything is an appearance to the mind. And so asking that question, because it takes away just about every other single question you could possibly have. I don't like this. I don't want this. Why is this person treating me this way? Why do I get excluded? Why, you know, why do I not get the job I want? Okay. All of it comes down to, why do I have to see this? And it's not an easy thing to really ask that question. Because if you sit there and you're like, all right, I'm trying to decide how vulnerable to get right now. Hold on. So if you're having any kind of, let's say, any kind of problem in any relationship, right? How you feel about it has more to do with you than the other person. Although the other person is a contributing factor because they're there. This is why if you're a mountain house and you go up in those mountains over there and you do retreat here at Diamond Mountain and you don't interact with people and you do your thing, right? You do all your meditations, you do your ohms, you do your mantras, you do your visualizations, you eat well, you don't see people, right? It's a beautiful way to purify. And the moment you come out of retreat and have to interact with a person, then you're going to see how good your meditation, you're going to see how good your seeds are, right? And normally, this is why the first thing about Lojong, and we learned like 4 weeks ago, whatever, 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago, was that we need other people. We need the annoying people in our life. We need the people to push our buttons. If we don't have it, then we don't get to see what's behind everything, right? You can clean up your act while you're by yourself. Well, then put yourself in a room with other people and then tell me how you feel. And then you can evaluate how good Dharma practitioner you are. If you get irritated by people, you've got things to do. If you recognize that you're irritated with people and you ask yourself the question, why do I have to see this? Now you're a Dharma practitioner. Dharma practitioners are not these like, oh, super cuddly, nice, spiritual woo-woo people where everything is love and bubbles. And if you go to a place where everyone pretends to be like that, you will see, if they're appearing as humans, they are probably, I don't know. It doesn't feel genuine to me. A vibrant Dharma community has fights, Vibrant Dharma community, people get irritated with each other. A vibrant Dharma community brings up our afflictions, but the way we deal with it is different, right? People come to me and they're like, this person did this, that person did this, and I'm like, hmm, oh, that's interesting. You know, why do you have to see that? You know, why do I have to see you complaining? Hmm, right. But that's the thing. That's the core of it. Asking that question and stopping is interrupting the flow of the negative seeds. And that's the virtue. That's the virtue that's going to start eventually changing it. Because every irritating person is just a mirror of your negative seeds. Every single thing that comes to you that, oh, I wasn't included. Oh, well, how did you feel about that? I didn't feel good about that. Okay, why do you have to see that? Because there's plenty of people that weren't included that feel just perfectly happy. You're the one who's upset. Why are you upset? Then you have to look at the ways that you do the same thing to other people, period. In smaller ways or bigger ways. If it's a problem that's happening all the time, you're probably doing it all the time and you just don't see it. Right. And so that's the game. And that's what, this is what this author is saying to us. Treat it like crystal. Everything has emptiness. Everything that appears, you have that. And that will be your ticket to planting good seeds. Use your irritation, use your fear. Don't get crazy though. Don't get a wind imbalance, where then your heart is so tight that you can't even think straight. Okay, don't go crazy. Like, be gentle. Like, gently ask yourself that question. And then sometimes, and this is advice from, yes, everything is coming from seeds, and yes, all those things. And sometimes when you discover why you're behaving this way, it can be very painful too. It can be very painful to see underneath of when you lift up the veil of why you've been behaving like this for years, why you came into this life with a certain family, a certain place you grew up in, a certain economic situation. All of those things, yes, they're coming from seeds, true. But when you open that up, it might be very painful. And the pain itself is coming from seeds. Yes, that's fine. But when the pain gets too intense, then you need to reach out for help. And normal things that we do to reach out for help are valuable, like friends, like the Dharma, I mean the Sangha, excuse me, people who are practitioners. Like, sometimes we have to go talk to professionals. Sometimes we have to go talk to the psychologist. Sometimes we have to go hire a coach. Sometimes we have to go do some of these things to unravel what that pattern is. Like, why am I behaving like this? Why, when I do this one thing, I'm totally fine, but I do this other thing and I have panic, fear arise, right? When you recognize that it's happening all the time, it's not the person, right? It's something in me. If you're in a safe place and everything, all the indicators are this is safe, and yet you're still panicking, right? The moment you start panicking, like, forget about the Dharma, right? Trauma responses, fear responses, those are all real things. And then one of the things I'm working with in ACI is how to create support networks for those kinds of experiences, because they will come up when you start. Everyone goes, oh, you're purifying. You know what? I hate that. Don't tell me I'm purifying. Give me a hug. You know, it becomes this kind of way of, it can be dismissive of the process. Yes, you're purifying. Yeah, that's great. But just don't call it purifying. Don't just tell someone, oh, you're purifying. Give them a hug, support them. And if it gets really intense, look for other support, look for other help. Right. And that's why we have a community. You know, my direct teacher, I get to ask about 3 questions a year. I get one sentence. What do you think the seed is for this? And then my teacher goes, I don't know. Let me think about it. And then tells me like 4 months later, maybe. Right. But I need more support than 3 questions a year. Right. I'm like, but what if I'm having these moments, I'm melting down or I'm freaking out or I don't know what to do. Right. Then I need to find support elsewhere. My primary teacher is not, his job is to teach me seeds. His job is to teach me how to navigate all of this myself. Right. And I'm not saying don't reach out to your teacher when you have needs, but there's needs that your teacher can't support. Right. Community. And there's no shame in getting additional support. And ACI is working on building communities to support each other when stuff gets difficult, because it will. Honeymoon is over, Maria Nesterov. I have to say by your last names because I don't want to call out someone who's not the wrong Maria. All right. All right. I think I've beaten that one out pretty successfully. And so what he means is that it becomes automatic. Nearly. It's not okay. We're not going to say 100% automatic. How do you get the karma to be able to say to yourself when something is happening, why do I have to see that? This is why it's not automatic. How do you get the karma to be able to interrupt your affliction? Taking care of others, listening to others, help others to do so. Well, which one came first? Your idea that you needed to get the karma to be able to interrupt your mental affliction, or the karma that opened up that gave you the idea that you need to get the karma to be able to interrupt your mental affliction? Sorry, translators. All right. We're not going to go into the Nagarjuna right now. But yes, one is supporting other people. But that's a good homework assignment for you. How do you get the causes and conditions in place to be able to have that pause? Right. So Marina said 4 steps. Yes, 4 steps, but what are the 4 steps? What are the seeds? Like, what are the seeds? Like, what are those specific things to do, those specific actions? Right. And you have to think about what those things are. Yeah, maybe motivation, but I want you to think about it. What is the thing that will interrupt your affliction? What's going to interrupt your negative emotion? What's going to interrupt your ignorance? How does wisdom make its way in? How is wisdom even possible? When was the first moment of wisdom in your life? Mm. Or do you even have to worry about it? Is this an unanswerable question? Does it matter? Are you hearing about it and wanting to do it? That's a question. Do you want to change or do you not want to change? And that's where I would evaluate it. Because I think some people come to the Dharma and they don't want to change. And I think some people come and they want to change. Heidi, is that your daughter? Super cute. Okay. So, do you want to change? I think that's the question. If you want to change, you have to be willing to change. And if you want to be willing to change, then you have to do the things to change, which means change means doing something different by definition. Okay. And if you keep getting the same results, then you're not changing. You see. So I would ask that question, your granddaughter. So do you want to change? And if you want to change, then do it. Just do it. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Is it going to cause challenges? Yes. Are you going to resist it? Yes. But don't go whining to other people when you're committed to changing, to being like, oh, change is so hard. You're the one that wanted to change, you know. And I understand that it's difficult too. So we'll just go with that. So what is it that prevents us from changing? And that's where I want to kind of open up the discussion here. What are the things that get in our way of that change? And we're going to call it the 5 poisons. All right. Unfortunately, AI put words on my poisons, which was lovely, except the first one says liquid love. So that's not really a poison, but just it's symbolic. Yeah, this is a symbolic picture. I'm not sure what liquid love tastes like, but I'll let you know. Um, but the point is that this picture is meant to say, look, there's 5 different poisons that are preventing us from changing, even when we want to. There's a part of us that wants to change, and then there's a part of us that goes, no, and whines about it and resists it. And I would also make the argument that there's something inborn in us that actually enjoys not changing, that there's some kind of secret pleasure that comes from not changing. So when you look at these 5 poisons, and this is why this is Tim's interpretation of it. Okay, when I say that, all right, I'm saying, look, I think there's something that you all, including me, enjoy in the 5 poisons. We can talk about them and go, oh, there, that's That's venomous, right? I can see why that would get in the way. But I think there's some kind of secret pleasure in it that we all take. And this is my homework for you. Once you know what these 5 things are, next time you have an affliction, you try to stop yourself and you can't. Look at what you enjoy about it. Do you enjoy whining about it? Like, oh, and you get some kind of pleasure from it. Like there's some kind of internal enjoyment. I'm resisting using certain words, but I want you to go there with it. Like, is there some kind of weird arousal that happens? I'm not talking sexual, could be, but I'm talking about there's some kind of enjoyment that we take in that pattern. Maybe we know it. Maybe that pattern creates a cycle of attention that gets people to pay attention to us. And then secretly we enjoy the drama so that we get the attention that we've always wanted. And then you're not getting the attention the way you're getting attention in the attention that you want in the wrong way because you're blind to the seeds. And you also think that the drama that you're creating, it creates the attention you get. Well, because every time I do this, it creates that attention or that love that I get. But that's coming from a different seed anyway, you see. And so it's how do we unravel that, right? That's the work. And that's why it's difficult. And that's why Lojong is really, really hard. Because I will propose that when you start looking at your afflictions, there's something underneath of it that you like about it. That you're actually kind of desiring it. You desire the affliction. Okay. And then it creates a whole series of other problems. And I'm also proposing that it's completely normal and natural, and this is the way we've been doing it for lifetimes. So don't think you're the only one who doesn't get it or the only one who's doing this. It's the pattern, it's the sickness, it's the samsara. Right? But if you could understand that, then you can understand where actual enjoyment comes from. Actual good feelings, actual safety. Because a lot of the patterns that we have created for ourselves are patterns of safety. This makes me feel safe. And that's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing to have done that. It's self-preservation. It keeps you going. It keeps you motivated. But it ultimately doesn't get you out of samsara. So we're going to go through those 5 poisons here. And then we'll talk a little bit more about what I've just been mentioning here. Okay. You've heard these before, but I want you to hear it differently this time. I want you to hear it from the point of view of what is in there that actually is creating incorrectly, but creating something that I want, something that I enjoy, some experience within me that I'm actually enjoying, getting off on. I've been resisting saying those words, but I'm going to say it directly. There's something in you that probably really enjoys it. And then what I would say is when you get into it, and you identify it, don't shame yourself. Because what happens then, that creates another cycle. Oh my God, I can't believe I enjoy this drama. God, this really like, oh my God, I'm such a terrible person. I'm so ashamed that I created all of this. Don't go there. That's not helpful at all. Guess what? You will go there. I know you will. Right. But I'm telling you this as a step to recognize when you're there. Because that shame, that sort of self-judgment that kind of fuels all of it will then reinvest it versus recognizing that some desire that you have is being fulfilled and that you're doing a good job of fulfilling that desire. A fulfilled desire, fully recognized, fully aware, fully in your body, can also let it go. And then you can put different desires in place. Then you can open up, you can take your conscious mind and find access into those patterns running underneath that are running underneath automatically. Excuse me. So what are those 5 things? The first thing is ignorant liking. What a stupid word. My first poison is ignorant liking. Okay. What does that mean? It means you try to get things incorrectly. You try to get things by creating drama. Okay. You try to get things not by planting seeds, but by hurting other people. The famous story, I think do I have a picture of this? I made a picture somewhere. Where is it? It's not in my PowerPoint. Maybe I just didn't include it in the PowerPoint. Hold on. It's a good picture. Not those pictures. I'll find it later. Um, Basically, the story is a guy goes in to the donut shop. He wants to buy his favorite donuts, and there's one donut left. My favorite donut are chocolate covered donuts. Okay, the one that has like the melted chocolate on top. And then if you want to go even deeper, I prefer the donut to be a chocolate donut with sugar on top. So you dunk the donut in sugar first, and then you put more sugar on top, melted chocolate. All right. If anyone wants to get me a donut like that, that's what I like. Okay. It's not healthy for me, so figure it out. um, you walk into the donut shop, there's one donut left. You're standing at the counter. And you're like, oh my God, finally, I'm going to get my favorite donut because it's everyone else's favorite donut. They sell out in the mornings, right? They sell out right away. And then behind you, you hear the door open and you hear the little bell, ding, right? The bell. And then you hear the voice of this old lady, right? Oh, I hope they still have the chocolate covered donuts. And you look behind you and she's kind of like, she's hunched over and she has her, don't take a picture of this, hunched over. She has her cane, right? And she's like, oh, I wish they have my favorite donut, right? She can't even see. Okay. I don't even know if you could see what I was doing. What do you do in that moment? She can't see. She can't hear. What do? You want your favorite donut. Do you buy that last donut and deprive old lady of her donut? Because she won't know. She can't see you. She can't hear you, but she wants her donut, right? What do? Ignorant liking buys the donut and then runs out, like runs around the lady right? Out the door before she gets up there. That's what you just took that donut away from somebody else. You hurt the old lady because she's not getting what she wants. You got what you wanted. And you thought you got the donut because you were there first. You thought you got the donut because there was one left and you happened to arrive before the old lady did. That's not why you got the donut. Why are you finding yourself in a situation where there's only one donut and you have to choose between yourself and the old lady in the first place? Okay. What do? The highest view would be buy the donut and give it to her. Yes, yes, Maria. A little bit lower view goes, well, fuck, I want that donut too. You buy the donut, split it in half, and give half of it to the old lady. Okay. Now you're kind of in between, like, well, I'll have some, I don't know, something like that, you know. But how many times do we do this? How many times do we rush to get something before other people get it? Catch yourself. How many times do you do things at the expense of other people? I love watching people serve lamas because then you have competitive students. I'm going to bring the coffee first. I'm going to bring the green juice. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then they run up and they step on other people and push people out of the way. Oh, but I'm serving my lama. Oh, okay, fine. Go step on other people first. That's exactly what the lama wants. I've seen it, Tracy. I've done it myself. Shh. It doesn't feel good because in the back of the mind, you stepped on someone else. You hurt someone else. Oh, Tim, I planted a good seed. Did you? It was a mixed seed, right? Yeah, you gave something to your llama, but then you like punched everyone else to get to the front of the line. Let other people go to the front of the line. That's how you get close to a teacher. Let other people go first. I didn't become ACI director because I punched people or stepped on people's feet. No, I watched other people doing it and I was like, oh, okay, you go. Go. I'll just stay back here. And then it creates the karma that opens up, that all of a sudden the space opens up and you have time with the teacher because you gave it to other people. You see. All right, so that's the first poison, the donut. The second one is called. Okay, so by the way, first of all, the antidote to ignorant liking, taking things, hurting other people to get the things you want. That's the definition. If we can find better words for that, willing to hurt other people in subtle ways. It doesn't mean that you punch people. But it is kind of a punch in the gut, right? So hurting others, how about say, willing to plant seeds, willing to plant a bad seed, thinking you're getting a good result. How about that? Okay. So the antidote to this is give every happiness to everyone else. Give the donut to the old lady. Okay, this is the insanity of a bodhisattva. Anastasia Manzarova is like, what if you didn't hear that the lady wanted a donut, but theoretically someone else could want that last donut? What do you do? buy the damn donut and then share it with somebody else. Okay. You had the good karma for the donut to appear there, celebrating your good karma. Just be like, yay, I got a donut. And then make sure you share it with someone. Do you want to have students in the future? Go sit out in the park and then give little tiny pieces of the donuts to the birds and then be like, hey, be my student. Okay. Give it to someone else. Give happiness to somebody else first. And then you'll have all the donuts you need. And then you won't even want donuts because they're not even good for you. I mean, it's just like eating a sugar bomb. Or maybe, or you could be you could be a ninja, like Sandra is suggesting, right? Maybe you buy it and then give it to somebody else. Maybe you go to Starbucks and you pay for the 3 cars behind you. Well, because typically the orders aren't going to be super expensive because people just want coffee, right? Start small, give people happiness. How amazing would it be to drive up to a Starbucks and then the person goes, oh yeah, your order's been paid for by that car that just left. How does that feel? That feels really nice. And then maybe you're starting a revolution of kindness. Then the next person goes, well, I want to pay for it, so they pay for the person behind them. And then da 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 da. You see, and then everyone's paying for each other. Then who's paying for what? Get it? Then a world is completely different. All right, so that's the first poison. Give everybody every happiness. The second one is the opposite, right? It's called ignorant disliking, which is another stupid word. And yes, it's in the homework. And yes, Geshe Michael translated it. And yes, he uses a different translation now. So I'm allowed to say it. Right? Don't be that Buddhist that runs around being like, oh, you like things ignorantly. Great. Thanks. Thanks, super spiritual. Hashtag. You can get out of my face. What I mean is, you don't understand why things come to you in a negative way. When somebody's irritable with you, someone yelling at you, right? And you don't like it, then you're like, you try to push people away. You're willing to you're willing to plant a bad seed to make the bad thing go away. That's what that means. I'm willing to do something even in a subtle way. You're all smart. You're all kind. I know a lot of you. You're not bad people. You're not ignorantly liking and ignorantly disliking everything. Okay. You might have some patterns, right? But I'm talking on subtle levels, not obvious levels. You know, maybe you do yell at your partner when your partner is upset with you and you start having a screaming match, right? Or you start plotting ways to like, in my world, I start plotting ways in my head how I'm going to be the correct one. I'm right and you're wrong. And I'm going to prove to you why I'm right. But it's subtly. What things are you doing that you're willing and even not even aware of that you're planting a bad seed to make something bad go away, which is total ignorance. Planting a bad seed to make something go away that you don't like is just creating more of it. So that's a tremendous poison, right? But you think that's the only way to make it go away because that's the only strategy that's ever worked for you, which it didn't work for you, of course. That's why we teach the two husbands in the kitchen, right? Like which one is there and which one's not there. How do you react when someone's upset with you? It's hard. It's really hard. I know. It's really, really hard. But I would propose that the reaction that you have to it, that there's some kind of desire in it. Ignorant desire, of course, but there's some kind of desire that needs to be fulfilled. When someone's upset with you and you respond in your normal way, you're trying to find a way to protect yourself. You're trying to satisfy something. You're trying to, and there's some kind of enjoyment in it. Yelling back creates some kind of enjoyment. You feel satisfied, or you feel justified, or you feel, I don't know, there's many things you could feel. But if you can catch that feeling, then you can interrupt the pattern. Because once you interrupt the pattern, as Dorje Senge says, eventually it becomes difficult to find upset people. Excuse me, you have to go looking for the gold mine because it's hard. It becomes more difficult because your karma shifts and you don't have them there anymore. Perfect. Z. I think you should write, I think you should create some short stories. We should make some little movies about these things. So you have to do it's deep self work, self introspection. This is why meditation is key. This is take your ignorant poison, whichever one it is, and then look at it. Really look at it. Look at your reactions. Are you willing to, are you subtly planting bad seeds and you don't even know it? Probably. What are those things? And then look at them. And then, for the love of other seeds, don't beat yourself up for it. Don't bring shame into it. Don't bring self judgment. Don't bring self criticism into it. Why am I telling you that? Because you will. You will start doing all those other things. And then you'll think you're a bad person. And the problem with this practice, and this is why it was secret for so long, is that it is difficult because you have to turn the chain backwards. If you're moving this way, try stopping the planet Earth moving through space right now. How fast are we moving? I have no idea how fast we're moving, really fast. Try to push that in the other direction, right? Impossible. It's impossible at first because the forward momentum is just moving. Even if you stopped all the gravitational acceleration, the forward momentum is already taking it there. You have to stop the gravitational acceleration first before you can slow down the momentum of the planet. Right? So of course it's going to be difficult. Of course it's going to be challenging. That's why Superman 3 or whenever it was when he spun the planet backwards to go into the past was ridiculous. The whole planet would have exploded. Good morning. That's why you got to do it gently. If we stop the rotation of the planet immediately, everything would collapse. The gravitation, all the forces would just collapse upon themselves. Right. And that's why Lojong is difficult. And there will be times when collapse happens. And that's why you need each other. And that's why you need a support network. All right. So the solution to ignorant disliking, meaning trying to get things to go away by planting a bad seed. That's what that equals, even subtly, is to help take pain away from other people. Help them remove their pain. And then you can think about why. Why is that the antidote? You should be thinking right now and taking notes about all the things you could do to take away other people's pain. What could you do to remove other people's pain? And why does that take away ignorant disliking? Remove the pain of others, remove your own pain. Then you won't have to fight against it. If you don't have pain arising, there's nothing to fight against. The money you make for your job doesn't come from your job, Tracy. The money you make is coming from your generosity to other people. So yes, think about like how can you take away other people's pain? Then you won't have to battle your own. Because if you're battling your pain, there's some kind of ignorance in it anyway. So the third poison is ignorance in general, timuk. And what do we mean by that? And what we mean by that is misunderstanding, just general misunderstanding where things are coming from. Are they coming this way or are they coming this way? And that's baked into the first two already. But the general form of misunderstanding, which is the better translation of ignorance, is understanding how things appear to you. So you could if you want to like bypass ignorant liking and ignorant disliking, meaning willing to plant seeds to get the things, willing to plant bad seeds to get the things you want, and willing to plant bad seeds to make the things you don't want go away. You could just understand reality in general, right? You could just do this. But the reason, this is my hypothesis, and the reason that it's separated out is because those other two are so powerful that they trump. Oh God, it's so terrible that his name is the same thing. It overwhelms the third one. It trumps the third one. You can't even think where things are coming from when you want a donut, misunderstanding the desire to have a donut. It's too late. You're already in a world of misunderstanding. You're already plopped in there. It's like you beamed in there from another planet and you're in ignorance, right? It's too late. You want the damn donut, or you want to yell at the person who's treating you wrongly because you're right and they're wrong. You're already baked in. It's already baked in. Like your cake is already made, right? It's too late. And that's why I think they're separated into three things: wisdom and misunderstanding in general, and then misunderstanding wrapped up in our desires. All right. So the solution to general misunderstanding is wisdom, right? Reaching total enlightenment. That's kind of a really irritating answer. Like, oh, I have to become a Buddha to like get rid of ignorance? Yes. Do I get to remove it along the way? Yes. Does it become less along the way? Yes. Like your desire, good desire, your wish to get there, your motivation to get there will start creating. Your wish to serve other people perfectly is what creates the wisdom to remove the darkness in your own mind. That's how you create wisdom. Well, how did I get that wish in the first place? Don't go Nagarjuna on me. You already have it. When I get enlightened, I'll tell you what you did billions of years ago to create the seed to be here in this class. But for now, just know that you have the seed and it's ripening. All right. The fourth one is Nagyo, a negative form of Nagyo, which means pride. And you could probably bake this into the other ones as well. But there's a particular reason why this is one of your five poisons, like a negative pride. And we all have it. And it manifests in lots of different ways. Like it can manifest in some ways, like somehow making yourself better than other people. I can do that better than that person. I can rush into the front of the line and be number one. It also can manifest as false humility, right? Like I'm such a better person, I'm so humble than those other people, right? Like this kind of pride is the pride that sits in the back of the room silently judging other people for their ignorant desire. Oh, look at all those people running to the front of the room. I'm such a better student than they are. I'm sitting in the back of the room, allowing them to go first. Which one? Okay, you have to understand the subtlety of it. If you want to be close to a teacher, you have to let other people go first. But if you're sitting in the back of the room, okay, if you're sitting in the back of the room judging all those other people who are going first because you're the better student, and the teacher's going to recognize me as the better student, but I'm humbly quiet back there. Get it? That's pride. Oh, no one sees it. I'm such a better person. Look how calm I am. Look what a great student I am. I'm so nice. The teacher will notice me. Bullshit. That's pride. And that's eating you alive. Does that mean you don't let other students go first? Didn't say that. But don't think you're better than anyone else just because you're planting better seeds. I know because I've done it. I know because I've seen it. I'm a better seed planter than everybody else. Come on. Give me a break. That kind of attitude, will end up destroying you. Is it part of the process? Yes. Do you need to have a little bit of pride about your seed planting? Of course you need to have pride, but good pride. I'm doing something different. I'm reversing the chains. I'm making the bicycle wheel go backwards, right? I'm stopping the gravitational pull in this direction. You see, that's good pride. Nagyel can be good or bad, but the kind of pride that judges other people, that makes you better than them. You're not doing anything, but your internal landscape is planting terrible seeds. You're just sitting there like a good student. Look at all those other idiots over there. I can't believe they're doing that. Then catch yourself doing it and laugh at yourself at how effing ridiculous it is. and then be like, oh my God, I'm ruining the good seed. That ruins the good seed of letting students go first. I'm such a better student than everybody else. Shut up. Shut up, Tim. Shut that pride up. How do you shut that pride up? And it's a very weird seed. Is that somehow in that pride, you that comparison to other people is what makes you a better person than them. This silent judging in your mind of being a better person. Look at all those idiots over there. They don't understand seeds. Look at all those, look at them over there. I'm better than them, right? That's what pride says. Right. Low self-esteem is also a form of pride. Think about that. That'll that'll blow your head off for a little bit, and then you'll be able to solve it. Because the solution to it is being able to stand independently on your own, but karmically. Hold on 1 second. I had an idea here. Mm-hmm. Because what that means, standing independently on your own, is that you are self-sufficient in your wisdom. You're self-sufficient in your meditation. You're self-sufficient in your ethics. And then you have what you need. You have the money, you have the knowledge, you have compassion, you have the Dharma. And we say that you become a pillar of strength yourself. You don't need to compare yourself to other people. Because once you have all that, what do? You just take care of others. You don't go, oh my God, I can't believe those idiots over there. You're like, oh my God, they don't understand. They don't understand how to get what they want. And it's a total different feeling. It's a total different motivation. How do you help them? You help them by, then you're like, okay, how can I secretly get them to stop competing with each other? Do you know how you get people to stop competing with each other? Put two competitive people together and make them do a Dharma project together and watch the fireworks. Because at some point they'll realize they're competing with each other, and then they'll realize, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh my God, my teacher set me up 5 years ago to have this realization. You can't tell people they're being prideful, because the pride will eviscerate any kind of advice, right? It's strong. It's a strong, strong emotion. And then the fifth one is jealousy. Ooh. Oh, do you have more of pride, or do you have jealousy? Hmm. Jealousy is a state of mind where you cannot stand to see others get what they want. There's something in you that just hates it when someone gets what they want, because you're not getting it. And that feeling is, it's like a fire inside. Right? And then you do all the things, misunderstanding, ignorant, pride, like all of those things, they're all baked in. They're all like in the same cake. It's all the same ingredients, right? The favorite version of you is already baked in with jealousy and pride and ignorance and liking and disliking in the wrong way. It's all there, and it's all swirling around in different, you know, amounts. Some of you have a little bit more, you put a little extra sugar in, some people put a little extra bitter in, you know, but it's all there. It's all playing around. And so if you catch yourself and really look like, what subtle ways do you get jealous of other people because they have something you don't? Sorry. Sorry. Right. Told you Lojong's hard, because now you have to think about it. Like, now you have to think like, oh my God. Right, exactly. Sandra has it perfectly. Your jealousy, you're actually embarrassed of your jealousy that you don't even admit that you have it. I used to be jealous of people who had a lot of money. I still am in some ways. Why are they better than me? I'm nicer. I'm a much better Dharma practitioner than they are. I'm kinder. I do all these things. I bring more people together than they do. Blah, 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 blah. Right. And then I'm just sitting there jealous that they have more money than I do. You want to make sure you don't have enough money? Just be jealous of someone who has money, period. Buongiorno, as Sunam just walked in. I love how she speaks Italian as a German. Um, Say hi, Sunam. Say hi to the ACI 14 class. Look at the flower offerings. There's Sunam.
Hi, love.
But look at the ways that you're jealous of other people. And that's what's blocking you from getting the things that you want. Period. I grew up in a really wealthy community, and we lived on the outskirts of town. And my parents sacrificed a lot to be able to live there, because this particular community had excellent education. They had excellent support services. They had excellent experiences and opportunities for children. We weren't. Max Wu is here, by the way, from Taiwan. If anyone's from Taiwan, a couple of you here. Um, he's here doing some kind of promo thing. And Gibson and Emily are here, and Vasara as well. Just showed up yesterday. So I grew up in that community, and we lived on the outskirts of town. We lived in the wrong side of the tracks, right? Our house was smaller than everybody else's. Okay. And because as a kid, you don't know the rest of the world, like, or what mom and dad did to make it possible. I was jealous as hell of all these other kids that had everything. They had vacations, they had Nintendos and Super Nintendos and Sega Genesis 1, 2, and 3, right? They had all the things. They went skiing on weekends, right? All the stuff that my family couldn't afford. And I was jealous. And then I was like, I'm better than my jealousy. I'm such a good person. I'm not jealous. Screw that, Tim. You were jealous. Why did you spend 15 years, first 10 years of corporate making shit salaries? Because you were jealous. And as soon as I got over that jealousy, the money started flowing. Am I still jealous? Yes. Am I working on it? Yes. But if you look at these 5 poisons that are within you, I think this sounds fine. They can't hear it. You can really shift your world very, very quickly. And so what I suggest is, first of all, don't try to do all 5 of them at once. It's too much. Okay. You'll collapse. All right. But just start noticing the subtle ways that you are willing to plant a bad seed to get what you want or push things away. And then secondly, I really invite you to look at the subtle ways that you actually enjoy your suffering, that you enjoy the pattern. And this is hard work. And it's painful work, and it's very fruitful work. What in that pattern do you actually enjoy? What about that emotional state or that thing that keeps happening to you over and over and over again? That drama or that feeling that you have. I propose there's something in there that you actually enjoy in a secret, kind of dark way. When you find it, allow yourself to feel it. Don't feel any shame or criticize yourself, which you will, but you'll get over it eventually. But allow yourself to open up that unconscious part of you that wants that suffering. There's something in there that protects you, that's been kept, and it has kept you safe. And then watch the resistance fly. Watch all the different ways that you push away the opposite behaviors. And we'll keep talking about this. It's not just a one-time thing. The antidote for jealousy is helping people get what they want. That's all. That's all. And then celebrating when people have the things they want authentically. Anastasia, your question about the 5 Buddha families, we'll talk about when we reach Diamond Way 4. All right. All right. Thank you for joining today. Really charge up your practice. Like just say, fuck it, I'm going to do this. Excuse me for my language. Just do it. Like, just commit yourself to change. You don't have time. We don't have time in this life. I promise you. It'll go way too fast. And then all of a sudden, anyway, the point is we don't have time. Commit to it and then do the work. And it's not easy. And that's why, again, we need community. Okay. All right. Thank you all for joining. Happy half-year birthday to me. May 8th is my half-year birthday. I celebrate it. I expect cakes and flowers and all those things for my half-year birthday. Because at a certain point, we stop measuring birthdays by, like, how old is your kid? 3.5. How old's your kid? 18 months. Like that. It's my half-year birthday. Keep celebrating. Find your half-year birthday and celebrate too. So unfortunately, just if you're sticking around, unfortunately, I had a schedule conflict again. I must really apologize. This should be the last one. So I'm not going to be able to teach the next class on translating Lam Rim, but we will continue everything on Monday. Don't worry. Use the time to think about Lojong anyway. You're going to need it. All right. Again, thank you all for joining. Thanks, Tech. Thanks, translators. And happy half-year birthday, not full birthday. Don't get too excited. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and say goodbye to each other. And I'll see you on Monday.
Happy half-year birthday! Yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
It's your half-year
Gracias,
birthday.
Messi.
We love you.
Feliz
Gracias,
medio
gracias.
cumpleaños. Feliz medio cumpleaños.
生日快乐，
Chao, feliz cumpleaños.
生日快乐。
易老师生日快乐，谢谢翻译。 Спасибо, Нурок. С днем рождения, Тимати. До свидания.